Thank you so much for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Ephraim Graham. Ahead today, Hezbollah stepping up its threats against Israel as the Biden administration and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu get into a public dispute over whether the U.S. is withholding weapons from Israel. As the Israeli military has been taking out Hamas terrorists and bases in Gaza, we're going to look at how Hamas uses the major media and the civilian death toll for its propaganda purposes. Christian baker Jack Phillips back before the Colorado State Supreme Court as he once again refuses to bake a cake that violates his religious beliefs. And our Studio 5 conversation with Christian singer Matthew West about his new devotional called My Story, Your Glory. All those stories and more coming up next right here on CBN NewsWatch.
This is CBN NewsWatch.
Lots to get to on this busy Wednesday. Let's begin in the Middle East, where Hezbollah is making clear its threats against Israel, while Israeli military leaders have prepared their plans to strike the terrorist group. Those developments coming as public disagreement over U.S. weapons being sent to Israel is grabbing headlines. The Israeli Prime Minister says President Biden is withholding weapons Israel desperately needs. CBN Middle East correspondent Julie Stahl brings us the story from Jerusalem.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he thanked U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken for U.S. support during his recent visit, but also mentioned a holdup in weapons.
I said it's inconceivable that in the past few months, the administration has been withholding weapons and ammunition to Israel. Israel, America's closest ally, fighting for its life, fighting against Iran and our other common enemies.
Blinken admits the U.S. briefly held up one shipment of weapons, but says others are in process and said the U.S. is committed to Israel's security.
We have a commitment to make sure that Israel has what it needs to defend itself against a whole variety of threats. Gaza is part of it, but it far surpasses Gaza in terms of the threats they face.
Behind the scenes, the White House reportedly is furious over Netanyahu's comments. Axios reports it canceled a high-level meeting with Israeli officials over long-term Iran policy. However, the Wall Street Journal reports a holdup in the sale of 50 F-15 fighter jets approved last month. Some Democrats in Congress are pressuring the president to withhold U.S. weapons to force a peace deal. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell is blaming election year politics for interfering with Israel's right to defend itself.
It needs the freedom to operate on its own timetable based on tactical reality in the Middle East, not on the political winds in Washington.
Netanyahu says if Israel has what it needs, the war will go faster.
During World War II, Churchill told the United States, "Give us the tools, we'll do the job." And I say, give us the tools and we'll finish the job a lot faster.
The controversy happening as Israel faces an increased threat from Iranian-backed Hezbollah on its northern border. U.S. envoy Amos Hochstein traveled from Israel to Beirut as he meets with officials in an effort to prevent an all-out war between the two sides. Tuesday, Hezbollah released drone footage showing targets deep inside Israel, including Haifa Bay, and military targets in civilian areas in what Israelis see as a clear signal of its intentions. Meanwhile, the IDF says its top generals in the north approved its operational plans for an offensive in Lebanon against Hezbollah. Julie Stahl, CBN News, Jerusalem.
The old saying in journalism is, if it bleeds, it leads. Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar has a new twist on that saying. The Wall Street Journal reports he wrote the following. Hamas leaders, quote, "We make headlines only with blood." CBN Middle East Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell spoke with Israeli scholar Dr. Mordecai Kadar about how Hamas uses civilian deaths in Gaza to control the views of the public.
The media jihad is part of the jihad. The jihad is an overwhelming effort or a great effort which the Islamic nation or the Islamic community actually spends in order to defeat their enemies. It could be the jihad by the sword. It is jihad by economy, the BDS. It is jihad by the media. Al Jazeera, for example, is part of their jihad. In their own they admit that Al Jazeera is part of the jihad. Yusuf Qaradawi actually said it explicitly. I heard it with my own ears.
How does this media jihad work?
Media jihad, first of all, is based on the hadith, the old tradition, which Prophet Muhammad is quoted to say that the war is deception. Means deception is part of the war. Now, by the media, it is the easiest way how to deceive. There are all kinds of clips all over the media, the social media, how children and youngsters in Gaza are smearing ketchup on themselves, and they, rub it, and they make faces as if they are injured, and this looks exactly like blood. And then they start laughing how they con the world. And yes, there are many of those. Look, I'm not saying that all of those who were killed in Gaza are fake, but definitely from the pictures which are running around the world, definitely there is a good percentage of fake pictures.
Yeah, and how does the West fall or succumb to this jihad media war?
First of all, the West takes everything on face value. When the Hamas Ministry of Health, they care about health, as you know, announces that there are 30-something thousand of dead people in Gaza, who else counted them? Who knows their names? Nobody. Secondly, they never divide between fighters and the people who are not fighting. They never. For them, even a jihadist who is shooting at Israelis is a civilian, because this is Hamas. This is an organization. It's a movement. It's not an army. So for them, everybody is a civilian. Even if he's shooting with RPG, our buses, with soldiers. And unfortunately, Western media outlets fall in this trap. They believe every word which Hamas are saying, and by portraying it in a very professional way, they convince everyone in the West. Don't forget that Al Jazeera bought people from CNN, from Fox, from Sky, from MSNBC, from many media outlets, and they, by tripling their salaries, and now all these talents actually are serving the media jihad, which is waged by Al Jazeera, by Qatar, which supports all the Muslim Brotherhood organizations all over the world, including in America, and tries to bring this jihad, through the media jihad, into every arena in the world, not only in Arabic, but also in English.
Coming up, back here at home, Jack Phillips back in front of the Colorado State Supreme Court because he refused to make a cake violating his Christian beliefs. We're going to bring you a look at the case. We've got it for you when we come back. You're watching CBN NewsWatch. Welcome back to CBN NewsWatch. For the second time in a decade, Christian baker Jack Phillips appeared before the Colorado Supreme Court Monday. The small business owner who refuses to make cakes with messages that violate his beliefs says he's being targeted by the state, and he's not the only one. CBN's Lori Johnson brings us the details.
Christian baker Jack Phillips is once again facing judgment from the Colorado Supreme Court. The case is over his refusal to make a gender transition cake, which his attorney argues is protected by freedom of speech and religion.
Phillips serves all people. He just can't express every message.
Plaintiff Autumn Scardina's attorney John McHugh argues there was no message. Scardina requested a pink cake with blue icing, but no writing or image to celebrate a transition from male to female. Lower courts ruled Phillips refused to serve Scardina based on his customer's identity, constituting discrimination.
Mr. Phillips is being asked nothing more than to do what he has repeatedly said he will do for other customers, which is specifically make a pink cake with blue icing. The testimony and the finding was he would gladly make that cake for other customers.
Outside the courthouse, Phillips said even without writing or a design, a gender transition cake sends a message.
Whether we create a custom cake always depends on what the message the cake will express is, never on who requests it. This means that I will not create a custom cake expressing any message that violates my religious beliefs, regardless of who asked for it.
It may be months before the Colorado Supreme Court issues its opinion. If it's in Phillips' favor, the case will be over. If it's against him, Phillips and his Alliance Defending Freedom attorney intend to take the case to the U.S. Supreme Court, where they've been before, arguing a similar case. In 2019, the High Court ruled in Phillips' favor by saying the state of Colorado acted with clear and impermissible hostility toward his religious beliefs when he refused to create a custom cake for a same-sex wedding.
Over the last 10 years, Colorado officials and activists have tried to punish me for my religious beliefs. They have even tried to change my beliefs.
In 2023, the Supreme Court also ruled in favor of another Colorado Christian artist charged by the state. Lori Smith, a graphic designer who refused to create wedding websites for same-sex couples, was on hand Tuesday offering support.
Like Jack, I have received several death threats, continued harassment. The cost has been both professional and personal.
Both Smith and Phillips say they routinely serve people who identify as LGBT, but draw the line when asked to create something that violates their conscience. Lori Johnson, CBN News.
I want to turn now to a major concern for most Americans. Inflation prices have been going up faster than income for the last few years, making it harder for people to make ends meet. CBN's Brody Carter has this look at the financial struggles so many are facing today.
If you feel like you're pinching pennies, you're not alone.
But yeah, it's kind of hard out here.
It is hard out here.
Yeah.
Surveys have found that up to 2/3 of Americans feel they're living paycheck to paycheck, including one finding that nearly half consider themselves broke.
We have to work maybe harder, but I think hard work is not enough anymore.
Americans say they're struggling to manage their finances because of high inflation, salaries not keeping up with the rising cost of living, and heavy debt.
How much money do you think the average American would need to feel financially stable?
Shoot, around here,
yeah,
at least about 100,000 to 150,000 a year, maybe, man.
Surveys have also found a gender gap on the financial pain, with women feeling the pinch more than men.
How many months behind on your student loans are you?
Maybe like 6.
6 months?
But my grandma pays for it sometimes.
For others, like Deborah Pearson, a retired teacher, careful financial planning has helped her manage expenses better than some.
Work while you are young and kick back, relax, and enjoy when you get 40, 50, 55, 60. You can't make your money when you get old. You have to make it while you're young, and you can take 2 jobs and get this taken care of and get that taken care of.
Economist Mark Hamrick of Bankrate told CBN's Faith Nation making a budget to have savings on hand when necessary should be a priority.
At Bankrate, we urge people to live beneath their means, not on the cutting edge of the envelope. The place to begin is a budget. The second place to begin is to have a dedicated savings account that uses direct deposit that comes straight from the paycheck into the savings account. As Warren Buffett once said, we should save first and spend later.
And there are some positive signs on that front. The MarketWatch Guide survey reports younger Americans are putting more money in savings accounts every month. Brody Carter, CBN News.
Still ahead, some special artwork all around the country celebrating the federal holiday of Juneteenth today, marking the final end of slavery in America. We're going to bring you the story when we come back. A public arts project celebrating Juneteenth is gaining some national attention. Cities across the country are displaying murals portraying the fight for equality. The artist tells CBN News he's using his freedom of expression to spread a message for future freedom fighters. Here again is CBN's Lori Johnson.
Ever since I was a child, I dreamed of creating. And so I live a high sense of freedom and that I get to do what I love.
You may have seen the art of Reginald C. Adams in your city. Driven by his deep gratitude for freedom, Adams is spreading the misunderstood and even misrepresented history of Juneteenth by bringing its history to life through murals.
2.5 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, over 250,000 enslaved black Texans were still being held captive. And so it took the Army and this declaration, which we recognize as the General Order, specifically General Order Number 3.
That order forced the Lone Star State to give Texas slaves absolute equality to rights and freedom, which is how the project got its name.
Absolute equality isn't a destination, it's a journey, it's a pursuit. And it's manifested in the collaboration of people coming from different backgrounds, different perspectives, different realities.
The project began in Galveston, Texas, the birthplace of Juneteenth. Now, 13 murals stretch across major U.S. cities, including Washington, honoring prominent African Americans like Frederick Douglass.
I thought to myself, if Frederick Douglass was alive, would he want just another portrait of himself? Probably not. He probably could care less to see himself. He'd probably be interested in a message, something around education or literacy, because he was an advocate for education.
These murals aim to inspire conversations about the history of equality, helping onlookers appreciate our diverse heritage and think critically about the world around them.
Socially, we have certain forces that are trying to ban books, ban history. It's hard to ban public art. When you put a message on Main Street, on a major intersection, no matter who you are, you get exposure and access to that message.
Adams plans to continue growing the project with the goal of creating murals in 7 more cities by 2025. In Washington, Lori Johnson, CBN News.
Coming up, our Studio 5 conversation with Christian singer Matthew West as he releases a new devotional called My Story, Your Glory. We'll hear from him when we come back. Welcome back to CBN NewsWatch. Award-winning artist Matthew West is not only writing and recording music, he's also a published author. And his latest book is a 30-day devotional. It's called My Story, Your Glory, and it shares the same name as his hit album. Take a look.
The story of me was a story of shame, wrong turns written on every page.
Let's begin My Story, Your Glory. A book, if you will now. What inspired you to take it from music to book?
So throughout my career, I've developed the ability to tell a story 1 3-minute song at a time.
My story, your glory, my pain, your purpose.
More often than not, I'll get to the end of a song and I'll feel like I still got more to say about that topic.
One life, one mission, one reason why I'm living.
I wrote all these songs and still felt like I had more to unpack with that. And that's how the idea for this devotional book was born. It was kind of like, what if we took a 30-day journey, and in every chapter was another way of saying, God, invade this part of my story and show me your plan for my past, for my character, for my relationships with my friends, for my finances, for the way I spend my time, like every aspect. I think about the Psalms where David said, Lord, search me and know me. And so I wanted to write a book that was like a daily prayer, like saying, Lord, search this part of my life. Show me how you want it to give you glory.
When you've cried and you've cried till your tears run dry, the answer won't come and you don't know why, and you wonder if you can bow your head even one more time. Don't stop praying.
Are you intentionally highlighting the less than perfect parts of us?
Oh, you better believe it. Because I think that's, too often the times or the parts of our stories that the enemy does his best work in making us believe that it can't be redeemed or it can't be used by God.
Every single word you're saying, so don't stop praying.
I don't know what to do with these broken chapters of my story. I'm learning at running to the Father and placing those chapters in his hands and saying, is there anything you can make good out of this? And man, it's an amazing thing that happens when you take those broken parts of your story, place them in the hands of a healer, He shows you that truly nothing is wasted.
Now, you've written the devotional. Have you gone through it as well?
Yeah. And you know what's kind of neat is I saw my wife the other day in her quiet time. She was reading through the devotional herself. So it's being tried and tested in the West House, you know? And I would say that's a great question, because I wrote the book in the way that I like to read devotional books. And I never want a book to take over the most important book, which is God's Word.
Yes.
And so I wrote this book in a way that could come alongside your personal quiet time. And man, the pages are filled with scriptures, where if you're on a flight or something, don't have your Bible, you can read these Bible verses. And then there's some blank pages where you can write your story. After all, it's called My Story, Your Glory. So it's an opportunity for you to think about your story, to write it down, and then maybe return to it in moments when you need to be reminded of something that God showed you, or how faithful He's been throughout the story of your life.
My story, your glory.
Matthew West's newest devotional, My Story, Your Glory, is available right now wherever you purchase your reading material. Be sure to join us tonight for an all-new edition of Studio 5. We're sitting down with actor Harry Lennox. He is known for his many film, stage, and television appearances. Well, now he's starring in a new series playing the role of God. It's called Destination Heaven. You can watch the all-new episode of Studio 5 tonight on the CBN News Channel. It begins at 8 Eastern. You can also watch it on the CBN News app, or you can watch it on YouTube. Right now, time for your Wednesday word, and today's word is freedom. I think about it as our country celebrates Juneteenth today and commemorates the official end of slavery in the United States. Remember this: true freedom is not free. There is a cost none can afford to pay. Thank God for Jesus, who paid the ultimate price for the debt we owed. Walk in freedom today, and thank God for our enslaved ancestors who held on to the dream of freedom until it was a reality. Well, that will do it for this edition of CBN NewsWatch. Remember, you can always find more of our news programs on the CBN News channel. You can find them there at any time, as well as online. That's cbnnews.com. Take a moment. Let us know what you think about the stories we've seen here today or any day. You can email us, newswatch@cbn.com. You can also reach out and touch us on Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you'll join us again right here next time. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to have yourself a wonderful Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow.